Airport scanners don't look at your bag the way you do. They only see strange shapes, dense shadows, and anything that feels off. And the scary part? The things that make TSA pull your bag are usually totally innocent and completely unexpected. Most travelers don't realize they're making these mistakes until they're stuck in a slow line, getting their stuff unpacked in front of everyone. So if you want to avoid that embarrassment, watch this video carefully because we'll discuss 10 packing mistakes that make TSA hate you. In 2026, TSA scanners are picking up mistakes people don't even know they're making, and you do not want to be the one holding up the line. 10. Overstuffed carry-ons can trigger TSA suspicion. I learned this the hard way on one trip when I packed my carry-on to the absolute limit. Clothes, shoes, gadgets, and a jumble of small items all crammed together. I thought I was being efficient, but when I reached security, my bag was pulled aside for a manual inspection. That's when I realized TSA doesn't see efficient packing. They see dense, solid clumps that could hide prohibited items. Even small things like tangled jewelry, bobby pins, or a handful of chargers tossed together can make your bag look suspicious. I call it the tech spaghetti explosion. All those wires and gadgets clumped together on the scanner. Since then, I've changed my approach. I now use packing cubes, pill boxes, and small pouches to organize jewelry, electronics, and small items. Light compression of clothes is okay, but I avoid cramming dense fabrics like wool or silk too tightly. The difference is huge. My bag scans cleanly, I move through security faster, and I avoid that stressful inspection. This small adjustment has made a big difference in my travel comfort. The key is simple: organized, not crammed. Smart packing not only saves time, but reduces stress and keeps your airport experience calm and smooth. And speaking of what's inside your bag, liquids in the wrong place can create just as much trouble. Here's what I learned. 9. Liquids in the wrong place. I've had my fair share of stressful moments at airport security, and one thing I learned the hard way is that liquids buried deep in your bag are a huge problem. TSA enforces the 311 liquids rule strictly. Each container must be 3.4 ounces, 100 milliliters, or smaller, and fit into a single quart-sized clear bag. Forgetting this almost guarantees extra inspection, or worse, your favorite face serum ends up in the trash. On one trip, I shoved all my toiletries at the bottom of my carry-on and had to dig everything out when the security officer asked to see them. It added stress, slowed me down, and I could feel other passengers staring. That's when I decided to reorganize my liquids for easy access. I started placing them in a small, clear toiletry bag and kept it on top of my personal item or in an outer pocket. That way, I can grab it instantly without digging. Even with TSA PreCheck, this trick makes a difference. Not only does it speed up the process, but it also keeps items safe, organized, and compliant. Planning ahead in this simple way saves time, avoids spills, and makes airport security a lot less stressful. While liquids can slow you down, unusual or dense souvenirs can trigger even more scrutiny. Let's dive into that next. 8. Dense or unusual souvenirs. On a few of my trips, I learned the hard way that souvenirs can cause serious TSA headaches. Things like sardine tins, small snow globes, wine stoppers, bars of soap, or even dense food items like chocolate and cheese often show up as solid blobs on scanners. Even though they're harmless, if they're packed tightly or stacked, they can trigger extra screening. I remember one trip where my small snow globe got flagged and I had to unpack half my bag while watching other travelers pass through. It was stressful and slowed me down. After that, I started packing souvenirs more carefully. I place unusual or dense items near the top of my carry-on or in an easily accessible pocket so TSA can inspect them quickly if needed. For any liquid-containing souvenirs like mini snow globes or small perfume bottles, I make sure they're under 100 milliliters to comply with the 311 rule. I also check TSA guidelines before packing anything unusual. This small effort keeps items safe, prevents unnecessary inspections, and saves a lot of time at security. Over the years, I found that thoughtful placement of souvenirs makes the whole airport experience smoother and less stressful. But it's not just what you pack, what you wear can make TSA take a second look. Coming up next. 7. Clothing and hair accessories can trigger checks. I never thought my outfit could slow me down at the airport, until it happened. On one trip, I wore a thick belt, layered sweaters, and had a foam hair bun. At security, the scanner flagged me and I was pulled aside for a manual check. It was frustrating because everything was completely normal, but apparently bulky clothing and certain accessories can look suspicious on scanners. Even metallic jewelry or trendy hair accessories can prompt extra screening. After that experience, I started paying attention to what I wear when flying. I minimize bulky layers and avoid heavy or metallic accessories. Hair buns, thick belts, and anything that might look unusual on a scanner, I either leave out or pack in my bag. For international flights, I've noticed that some airports are stricter than others, so it's even more important to keep things simple and organized. This small change has made a big difference. I breeze through security more often, and I don't have to worry about being pulled aside unnecessarily. Planning clothing and accessory choices in advance is a simple step that saves time, stress, and embarrassment. Even minor details can affect how smoothly you move through TSA, so I always think ahead before packing my travel outfits. Accessories aren't the only issue. Electronics buried deep in your bag can add precious minutes to your security line wait. 6. Buried electronics create delays. I've had my share of slow security experiences, and one thing I learned is that burying electronics in your bag causes major delays. Laptops, tablets, power banks, and even spare batteries show up on scanners as dense, dark shapes. If they're hidden under clothes or other items, TSA often pulls your bag for a manual inspection, which can take several minutes. I remember one trip where my laptop was at the bottom of my carry-on and the officer had to dig everything out. It added unnecessary stress and slowed down the line. Since then, I've started placing all electronics near the top of my bag or in a dedicated tech sleeve. Small devices like chargers, earbuds, and cables go in a clear pouch or Ziploc bag so I can grab them quickly. This simple organization trick speeds up security, protects gadgets from damage, and reduces stress while boarding. I travel with multiple devices, so this habit has saved me a lot of time and hassle. It also makes the whole process smoother for fellow passengers. I'm not that person holding everyone up. Keeping electronics accessible is one of the easiest ways to make airport security faster and less stressful. And once your electronics are organized, don't forget shoes and other accessories. They have their own TSA tricks. If you're enjoying these tips, hit subscribe now for more travel hacks that will save you hours at the airport. 5. Shoes and accessories handling. I used to throw my shoes, belt, jacket, and jewelry all together in the security bin, thinking it would save time. Big mistake. One day, I almost forgot my wallet because my shoes went in first and buried everything else. Since then, I've learned that the order and organization of accessories really matters. Shoes go last, so you don't accidentally cover or forget smaller items like laptops, wallets, or passports. Belts, watches, and jewelry go in small pouches or separate compartments to keep them organized. Being prepared for what TSA expects makes a huge difference. It reduces inspection time, keeps your belongings safe, and prevents that stressful moment of digging through everything. I've noticed that when I organize my shoes and accessories thoughtfully, the line moves faster and I rarely get pulled aside for extra checks. Over time, it has become a simple habit that saves time and keeps travel stress-free. Even with perfect organization, your bag itself can slow you down. So here's what I've learned about travel-friendly bags. 4. Bags not built for security. I learned this after several trips where TSA had to dig through my bag because it wasn't designed for travel. Traditional backpacks without compartments make it hard to quickly remove laptops, toiletries, or small electronics, slowing down the line and stressing everyone, including me. Now I use a bag with dedicated compartments for laptops, chargers, toiletries, and even passports or phones. Everything is easy to grab without disturbing other items. Not only does this make TSA inspections faster, but it also protects my belongings from damage or loss. Investing in a structured, organized travel bag is a small change that makes a big difference. It keeps airport security smooth, stress low, and lets you focus on enjoying your trip instead of scrambling at the checkpoint. Of course, every airport has its own rules, so what works in one place might fail in another. Here's why. 3. Different airports, different rules. I've traveled to dozens of airports around the world, and one thing I quickly learned is that security rules can vary wildly. What passes smoothly in one airport might trigger an inspection in another. For example, I once brought a power bank that flew through TSA in Los Angeles, but when I used the same bag in Toronto, it set off a manual check. Even everyday electronics like hair straighteners, chargers, or spare batteries can get flagged depending on the airport's scanner technology and current security alerts. Experience doesn't always guarantee a smooth passage. That's why I've started keeping essential items easily accessible and reviewing local rules before I travel. I also plan for variations in scanners and occasional false alarms. Being courteous and cooperative with TSA staff has also made a big difference. I've noticed officers respond more positively when travelers are polite and prepared. Over time, I've found that awareness and adaptability make a huge difference. Smart packing, anticipating variations, and organizing items thoughtfully helps me move through security faster, reduces stress, and keeps my travel smooth, even in unfamiliar airports. And speaking of surprises, wrapped gifts can be a hidden headache. Don't make the mistake I did. 2. Wrapped gifts are a no-go. One holiday, I packed several small presents, all nicely wrapped, thinking it would save me time. Big mistake. TSA pulled every wrapped gift for inspection, and I watched as wrapping paper got ripped in the process. From then on, I realized that wrapped gifts can create unusual shapes that scanners misinterpret as suspicious, leading to unnecessary manual checks. Now, I bring gifts unwrapped or in gift bags. It's simple, keeps items intact, and speeds up the process. I also make sure they're easily accessible in my carry-ons so I can hand them over without digging through everything. This is especially useful when traveling with multiple presents or during the busy holiday season. Planning ahead and keeping gifts simple has saved me time, stress, and frustration. It ensures TSA can work efficiently while keeping my items safe. Thoughtful preparation makes the airport experience smoother, reduces inspection time, and lets me focus on enjoying the trip rather than worrying about damaged or delayed gifts. Finally, even the number of bags you carry can make or break your security experience. Let's finish strong with this last tip. 1. Overloading multiple bags. I used to travel with a roller bag, backpack, tote, and purse, thinking I was prepared for everything. Big mistake. At security, it was chaos. My bags wouldn't fit neatly in the bins, and I ended up under extra scrutiny. Over time, I learned that carrying too many items slows everything down and makes you stand out in line. Now I consolidate my belongings into a manageable number of bags and make sure each complies with airline personal item rules. I organize everything so TSA can see items clearly, which minimizes manual inspections. Streamlined packing also makes boarding easier and less stressful. I've found that smart travelers prioritize organization, optimize space, and avoid extra bags. Even a small reduction in items can dramatically improve the airport experience. Proper planning, consolidation, and thoughtful packing make the difference between a smooth, stress-free journey and a long, frustrating wait. It's amazing how much calmer travel feels when your bags are organized and manageable. Thanks for sticking around and leveling up your airport game. Click any of these videos on your screen, and I'll see you in a moment.